All right, so I'm going to demo how to utilize the data capture system. It's relatively simple to use. You just simply create a new project here. So there's two choices. We have templates that we've already created, and you can immediately start using those. Or what you can do is you can create your own. You can put a sample in of the data that you're going to be inputting in, and let's say we want to capture the invoice ID, the date, and we want to categorize this by whether it's a product, operations expense, and give me more suggestions. And then the AI will take this and utilize that to auto-create a format for your needs. So it all really depends on what you're looking for and what you're trying to develop. So here we'll have it so that we know that it's looking for the invoice number, order number, invoice dates, the due dates, the vendor names, the customer name, the total amount. And then here's the repeatable table. Think of these as like the transactional logs that are inside the invoices itself, or whatever that's kind of repeated inside the system that you're going to be looking for. So item order, services, or service description, quantity, expense category. So this is like that part there, classifies product, operational expense, or service based on description. And you can change these extraction hints, which will help with the output of what it is that you're looking for. But you can also choose with either one of these templates. So let's use the invoice one because we're going to demo an invoice system. And you have everything else that's the same, and here you have bank accounts, bank routing, as well as the unit price, adjustments, line, and currency as well. So in the case where if you have lots of transactions in multiple different currencies, you can, in this particular case, we can normalize it in symbols of the local market as well. So once everything looks okay, we can go to the next step, and then we can input a invoice example. And let's input an invoice, and then we can run the sample again. So the reason why we run a sample is just making sure that this is the formatting that we want to use for the whole project, because once the fields have settled down, it won't be able to be changed again for the duration of the data capture system. And in the case that you do want to use an MP4, MP4s are utilized as a data checker. So these can be used as a video of a transaction of some sort, and making sure that whatever transacted from the invoice or the data that you're trying to capture is correct, and it'll check with the MP4 itself as a verification method. So here we have the transaction, the invoice number, invoice date, payment terms, the bank, the routing numbers, and what category it was web design, so it was professional service, and we have the currency as well. So everything looks good, and we can go to the next step. You can change the project name and the project description here, but in this case everything looks good, and we can go save project. Once everything is ready, you can start doing data captures, and so it works by essentially uploading either your files, and so you have separate files. So in the case that you're trying to do 100 different files and into the system, and it'll separate out as one transaction at a time of interaction. And then you have a zip as well. So these are if you have multiple files for one interaction at a time, or one data extraction. So let's say you're trying to extract from 4 different images for one particular invoice, then you can upload it in our zip format. I would recommend just downloading the zip format first to learn what that formatting looks like. It's simply just the folder name, and that'll be the invoicing or the data capture that you're going to get, and you can upload the MP4 there as well. So in this particular case, we're going to do single. So in the task title, think of this as a way for you to help filter of like when you uploaded the file itself. So in this particular case, let's say this is for invoices in June. Then now we upload the file, and then you can now figure out estimated costs. And then once this is the first time, so we're going to lock all of our fields and inputs. You can only edit the field's description later on. If there's some parts that needs to be updated in categories or things of the sort. And now let's start capturing. So depending on file size and how many you're doing, it does take some time. So here we have it completed, and if we do want to see the data capture, we can look here. We can see the files, transactions, and including all of the raw model outputs, the parse JSONs that we interacted. But once you're ready with all of the data capture, what you can also do is start exporting the data here. And there's multiple ways you can handle this, or if you have a lot, you can start filtering out the data as well. So in some cases, you want to filter out if the invoice number is the same, you don't want to look at the same ones. So there's ways to handle that as well. And then once you're ready, you can export your data as purely as the normal spreadsheet, or you can, if there is a transaction that you want to standardize as a certain currency, you can pick the currency. Let's say in this particular case in IDR, you just add, and it'll auto grab the latest currency rate during the day, and then you can download the Excel file from there. There you go. And that's how you utilize our data capture system. Thank you.